Hey everyone, this is Silenced by Society, and today I will just have a little story time here and tell you all about the strangest dreams that ever occurred to me. I just started with a dream I had when I was really young. We were living in a really small and comfy house, and I had my room upstairs, and I remember that I had those curtains in front of my bed, like to protect me from mosquitoes and anything like that. And I was always dreaming the same dream for, I don't know, it started when I was like 5 and it ended when I was like 12 or 13. It was always the same. I was like 3 or 4 years old and I was sitting on my bed, and my curtains I had on my bed were on fire. And I was so scared that I collected my plushies, like all in my I'm gonna show you. I was just, my little plushie, and I was just taking it inside of my shirt. And I did this with like all plushies I had. It was pretty unrealistic to like put them all in there, and I was trying to save them. And I remember running downstairs with all my plushies inside of my, I don't know, I think it was my pajamas. And I remember that the fire, we had a corridor down there, and I remember the fire coming from back from the garden all the way down to the front door. And I ran to the front door, and my parents were just standing there discussing, oh my god, where should we go next? And I don't know, I'm so scared, and what if all our belongings are burning in this fire? And I remember being really, really small and trying to get my parents from the door because I was so scared that the fire would catch up to them. So I was pulling at their clothes, and I was like really excessively screaming at them, Mom, Dad, you have to go away there, and look, there's a fire coming, and I don't care where we go next, just like, please save your lives. And my parents were like, yeah, but we don't know where to go, and they were like pretty much ignoring me really bad, so they were not even like really listening to me. And I remember that clear as day that I tried to pull them, and the fire was coming closer and closer, and like the last second before it like actually reached my parents, I remember that I wake up there every night, and it did not matter if how many times I dreamt that. I had no ability to change that dream, and it was really horrifying to see your parents like nearly dying every night. So another weird dream I remember having are those chasing dreams, that you are having the feeling you're being chased through everywhere. I remember that I was in the woods and I was running away from, I actually can't really remember, those were like really dark shadow figures. I remember them being male, and that was really, really horrifying. And I was running through the woods, and I remember coming down to a little like lake, or it wasn't really a lake, it was like smaller, but I don't know, it was really creepy. And I remember that I was there and the shadow people were like at my feet, and they were really, really scary. And I remember that they caught me. This is like something I really remember really hard. It's kind of like the scene after. Now, I think 15 years later, there's that Panic at the Disco video from LA Devotee, where they are like capturing this little boy. And it was kind of like that. I felt like in a satanic ritual, and that was really creepy. I was tied to a chair, and those shadow people really tried to hurt me bad, and I remember that I woke up soon enough so I won't die. I don't know exactly where I was. I think it was a clinic or a psychiatry. It was really like huge halls and everything. And I remember that all my friends were there, and we had like a dinner or a supper, I'm not sure. And there was this girl, and she was really, really scary. And she had like long black hair and really dark eyes, but not like completely black eyes like you would know from those demonic childs. Like just like her complete eye, what for me is blue, it was completely black. And she was always like dressed in pretty scary and old clothes, like you would remember from a horror movie or anything like that. And she was always like, I don't have friends, and will you be my friend? And I was like, yes, I can be your friend. And she was like, yeah, I really need friends, and I'm so alone all the time. And at first I thought, okay, that's fine, that's not a bad thing. And I was like, okay, let's be friends. And then I remember that she was staying everywhere I was. She was, as soon as I would turn around, she would stand behind me. And at dinner, she would always sit beside me. She was always exactly where I was, and that was so creepy. Like, I remember that in my dream, I was sleeping and I was waking up, and she was standing at my bed watching me, and she was like, we are friends now. I really want you to be my friend. And I was like, oh my god, this is not right. And then there was a huge family gathering. I know that we had like all our families were visiting, and I wanted my boyfriend and my family sitting next to me, but she was like, nah, we are friends now and I am sitting beside you. And I was like, honey, I see you every day. I'm sorry, but can I please like sit next to my family? And she was like, no, we are friends now and I am the only one you ever need. And I was so scared. It was like, thinking of it, it's like crawling up to me. It was so scary. And I remember that I was okay, well, then sit next to me, because if you have that really eerie feeling that if you do not do that now, something really, really bad will happen. It was kind of like that I was like, okay, it's better if I like do that. And I remember that clear as day, that she was looking at me with that really weird grin, like these, like almost a Chelsea grin. It was like really, really wide, and she was looking at me, why don't you want to be my friend? Why don't you like me? And I was like panicking, because it was like, that was what I was thinking, that I don't actually really like her, and that I'm just doing it because I'm afraid and because she's like really creepy. And the next thing, she was looking at me and waiting for an answer, and I was like, no, I really do like you and I will never leave you. I'm so sorry. Like things you would just say for like that nothing even better would happen, like nothing even worse would happen. So I was like extremely scared, and I was looking at her and telling her all the things I thought she might want to hear. And then it was like within a second that she was looking at me, and I was realizing something changed, and that I realized in the left corner of my eye that people were hanging there. And I was like looking at her, and I was like, I'm not leaving you. And she was like, okay, well, this is what happens if you do leave me. And she was looking like with this really weird view on her face, and she was looking to her right, and she was looking at the table. And I saw my whole family, all my friends, my boyfriend, everything that I love, hanging there like bats from the ceiling. And they were all having like this clean wrapping paper around their faces, suffocating. And I was like trying to stay calm, because I didn't want to like show her that this affects me so much, because I was scared that she would think that they are more important to me, because I really wanted her to think that I like her. And I was like, you can put them down and it's no problem, I will stay with you. And I really tried to stay calm. And I remember that in the next second they were sitting on their like places again, but having those scratches over their face from the wrapping paper. And the next really hard thing was she was like snipping with her finger, and all the necks turned, and she broke all the necks from my whole friends, family, everything. It gives me chills just thinking about that. And I was like, I think I nearly woke up that moment because I was so scared. But she was looking at me, and I really tried to stay calm because I realized if I now cry or I show that it really hurts me, that I would be next. So I was looking at her, and I couldn't speak, I couldn't say anything, and she was like, "Now you only need me." And I was like, "Yeah, but you didn't have to kill them. It's like those poor people, you know." And they were like that. And she was I remember that she was in the next frame, like it was like I nearly woke up and I like continued the dream like further away. And I remember that we were standing outside of this building, and all of those, I don't know, and all of the workers that worked there were trying to evacuate all of the people. And she was looking at me and she was like, they think I'm dangerous. And I was like, oh my god, this is going too far. And I remember that the workers forced me to go inside the building with her. And the next thing I remember is we were sitting on the floor looking at each other, and she was like, I know that you actually don't really like me. And then she snipped her finger, and I know she broke my neck, but I woke up. And this was so creepy. This was like one of the worst dreams I ever had. It was so chilling and so weird. That really was a thing. Another really weird dream I remember was, I can't exactly tell you where I was, but it was like an old abandoned ghost town. And we were there with a few friends. And I remember that we walked through the houses. And then I at first saw a little boy standing like just like a silhouette beside one of those houses. And I was like really scared because I remembered him. Where I remembered him from I will tell you about in another video, because this would like be way too much right now. And I remembered him like clear as day, and I was like, oh my god, this is nothing good. We have to like leave, we have to escape, we have to get out of here. And I remember that me, my best friend, and two other person I actually don't know were running away from him, and we split up. What is generally a really bad idea, to like split up. It's like every horror movie tells you to not split up. We split up. I was running inside of one of those houses, and I remember that I was going through the hallway, and in every room I looked, behind the window, he was like staring at me. The little boy would stand behind every window. I looked into the corridor inside the room, and I slammed all the doors, and I really tried to get away from him. And I remember that I locked myself up in a chamber where were absolutely no windows, and I thought I may be safe. And I locked myself up, and I remember him like slamming against the door trying to get in. And the next thing I heard was my best friend screaming in pain, like really in pain, and I was like so scared. And I thought the little boy must have been gone because I heard my best friend screaming. And I was running out, and I was seeing that he was lying there on the floor dead. And I was like running like hell away from that scene. And I remember that the little boy spawned everywhere I looked. That it did not matter where I looked, how fast I ran, he was always spawning exactly at one point. And the next thing I actually remember is waking up, because it was like way too scary for me. And because I was like really scared, and yeah, not nice. Okay guys, those were like a few of my weirdest dreams and creepiest dreams I ever had. If you want more of those videos, just tell me. I have a few more I could tell you about. And in the next video I will tell you more about this little boy I had an encounter with. And well, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, please subscribe. It would help me out a lot, and I wish you all a very good day without any creepy encounters. Bye!